we're going to talk about what we see and what we can use photographs for and why we need to supplement that with other things. So, in the spectrum that we can see, all of this color here is what is visible to us. However, as you can see by this, that monitor is this right here. So this is what our computers can show us. The CMYK is right here. This is what we can see in print. And these are Pantone colors that are a little bit bigger here. So of everything that we can see, all of these colors, and look at how many of them are green, we can only see about, or we can only print about a third of them. So our paint colors are in this area as well. So within all those three triangles is the area that we're thinking about and using. So we cannot always get exactly the greens that we see, exactly the purples, exactly all the reds. We just need to get either as close as what we see or the colors that will give us the mood or the feeling that we want in our painting. Now, I've taken a few photographs, and when it comes to photographs, we saw how little of that spectrum we see is in a photograph. But photos also do something else. When we print that, they do something called clumping. So when we get clumping in photographs, things that are in a range, let's say, we have our value scale of 1 to 10. Let's say that's 1 to 1,000 instead. So things that are in the range of, let's say, 850 to 1,000, all get turned black, one value. So there are a lot of things that just get clumped together because we just don't have the capability of getting the millions of values and colors that our eyes can see in print. So look at this and see what happens. Look at these different photographs. You can see how they vary with each photograph depending on where that photograph is taken. This is even a little bit closer. Now back here, notice that these darks are really dark, aren't they? And as I zoom in and get a little bit closer, look at how light they become. And you would think, oh, that just looks like a washed out photograph. But once I get in here, this doesn't feel like a washed out photograph, does it? What's happening is because of that clumping, we can only see, or the camera, can only focus on a certain number of values, and it has to group things together. So when I was standing here on this little road, I could see the rock wall in the shadows there. However, let's take these off now. You can't see it in these, can you? Leave it on that one. That's not even the one that's farthest away. There's even a sign back there. But you can't really see all that. It just gets grouped together. So when we group our colors and our values together for effect to get a good composition or whatever we need to do, that's totally okay. That is well within the artist's range. But we also need to learn to not rely on the camera to record everything. It won't record the color and the detail that we can see because we can focus clear back in here when I'm standing there, and I can focus on something in the foreground, but the camera can't do all of that. So we have to take some other means to record everything. The camera is just not capable of recording everything. It also flattens things out. You'll notice that I just don't have the depth here that I would if I was standing there. I would be able to tell you right away if this branch was, closer to this tree or that tree because of where I'm standing and because of what I can see. My eyes are used to this. My brain has learned how to interpret all of those shadows. So when you take photographs, take them to record the detail and to record structure, but don't rely on them to record depth or to record color because that changes. And you can see there's not a whole lot of difference. In fact, when I took this, I think if I remember right, I either stood in the same spot and zoomed my camera in closer and closer and closer, or I walked a few steps to here maybe as I was taking photographs. I can't remember which I did. But each of those photographs changes depending on what's in the lens and the variety of values that it can use for what it sees, that single eye sees. And that's another thing to remember, is a camera is one lens, a single eye. And the reason that you get that flattening is that we are used to seeing with two eyes. And even though your eyes are only a couple inches apart, that distance allows you to triangulate and to see depth. It's amazing what you can see because of that distance there. So rely on photographs for what you can rely on them for, and provide the other things you need, like color studies and value studies, and sketches, things like that, for the things that you can't preserve with the photograph.